Hello, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and what just happened? The sober version. So yes, forgive me for doing more than one video on the same subject, but considering my last one was a disgrace, I thought I might do something with actual analysis rather than me literally falling over. Thank you guys in the comments, you're kind, but don't enable this. I might have a problem. So, the 2016 Royal Rumble. Now, my first responses were combo breaker. They finally had a good one after 2 years of it being booed out of the building, after 2 years of we want refunds. Finally, something to make you feel good, that make you feel like WWE are in control. Tick. First pay-per-view, done. There were some problems. Let's talk about those. So first of all, Ambrose versus Owens. I thought this was great. This was almost match of the night. In fact, for action per minute, this was probably the match of the night, but you know, how do you beat the Royal Rumble? It was a really solid opener, big babyface going over in a big match full of big spots with great psychology. That's the thing about last man standing matches, is that a lot of people overlook the fact they need really good ring psychology to work. You guys have to be good at selling and really good at pacing. It was paced a little too quickly, like they were getting to 9 counts super quickly, but spots like cannonballing through the barricade, I mean the double table spot, all the kendo sticks, breaking them and trying to impale Dean Ambrose on them, it's fine. The thing about Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens is they're great sellers. They can do the whole just getting to your feet and the count of 9 really well, apart from Ambrose, who hopped up like a jackrabbit on 9 because I don't know. That one was bad, but it was a really great match from bell to bell. Last spot, beautiful, great way to start the night. We move on to a tag match, which was also really good. The Usos are a bit boring, but they can really go in the ring. Like, they've had amazing feuds with the Wyatt family, and they can really complement the New Day very well. That catch by Big E, that's some tasty I'm actually sober now. Never mind. I like the fact that Xavier Woods teased not playing Francesca 2 for a while. I don't like the fact they brought out another trombone. I thought the funeral was a great way to sort of send that off, because as a heel, like Chris Jericho said in our interview with him, you want to be one step ahead of your audience at all times. You want to be like, you like what I'm doing, then I'm not going to do it anymore. I am one step ahead of you. I set out a catchphrase, you want me to do the catchphrase, and then I won't do it. And Xavier Woods teasing not playing a trombone, fell into that a little bit. I think they need another thing, you know, horns, trombones. I think they just need to keep cycling through things. Either way, really well worked match, really liked it. Third match, few stumbles here. I felt it was a bit short. Also, you know, Del Rio is great in the ring, but he's just not really that over. So to have him start off the match by being dominant, it meant that the audience was sort of left behind a little bit, which is just a shame. He's just not as over as he is in Lucha Underground. Now, Kalisto is very much Rey Mysterio too, as evidenced by his little skim out of the ring and then bump, land on your belly spot. I mean, fine. He's really likable though. He's athletic, he's innovative, and he's easy to cheer for, especially when he comes down to the ring dressed as White Sub-Zero. That's brilliant. The crowd wasn't into it at the beginning, but the good thing about the underdog story is the more they fight back, the more invested you get. Now, if this match had gone on for maybe 3-4 more minutes, and Kalisto really struggled to get that babyface hope kind of momentum back, I think they would have had a more engaging match. I think it was good, like the turnbuckle shot to the Salida del Sol. It's a fine ending. It's just, you had a good match, which could have been a great match had it just dragged out a little more and Del Rio inflicted a bit more punishment. Also, shame about that sunset flip powerbomb spot. That looked like it was going to be really pretty, and then he just sort of landed on his head. I hope he's all right. Then Becky versus Charlotte. Isn't it amazing how good wrestling can be with a great story? I mean, the build, you know, I'm not going to say the build was the best of all time, but it was clear. And anyone who's even slightly bored by women's wrestling, you just have to understand how important clear characters, clear motivations, and actual step-by-step plot beats are to a match. Because Charlotte and Paige, they're both great workers, but the storytelling was really sloppy, so the audience didn't know how to feel, and so the audience was out of the match, and so it wasn't as good. Whereas this time around, it's just a simple story. The crowd dislike the heel, they like the baby face, and so from the off, they are much more into the match. And the women fed off that brilliantly. Again, it's not the greatest match in the world, but in terms of women's wrestling on the main roster, it was great. Now, the kiss. The more I think about it, the more I dislike it. Now, I don't want to make a huge thing about this, but it's just, on the face of it, uncomfortable to see an old man grab a young woman and kiss her against her will. That's just uncomfortable. It wasn't really a funny thing. It wasn't like, oh, Ric Flair lols thigh slap, what are you like? It's like, Rick, get your hands off of her. Now, it wasn't as serious as that, but it is sort of, it's just gross, isn't it? And it's just a spot that you just didn't want to see. No one wanted to see that. Well, I don't know, maybe someone did. Ric Flair, maybe, when he's watching it later. No. Yeah, it was just a bit kind of uncomfortable and... Ugh. But then, what happened after the match? Hooray! I can't believe I forgot to talk about this in my last video. Sasha Banks is back, and oh my goodness, she's over. She came back with like anti-hero pop, and then turned full heel, and then turned back into an anti-hero, which was a bit kind of duh. But, you know, you can't argue with the crowd reaction when she finally turned on Charlotte, locked her in the bank statement. Guys, we're gonna get Sasha versus Charlotte, and it might be at WrestleMania. So finally, the Royal Rumble match. Yeah, basically I covered it in detail in the last video, so I'm just gonna skim through. I liked it. I don't think it was, you know, 2001 good or even 2010 good, but there was just a lot of smart booking in it because everything set up other stuff. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe AJ Styles getting dumped out won't further a feud between him and Owens, in which case, what the hell? But anyone who actually is seriously saying, AJ Styles, where was his big Rumble moment? It's when he walked out. Did you hear them? It was unbelievable. So yeah, AJ got eliminated, Brock got eliminated, Sami Zayn got eliminated. These are all things that make people go, ugh. But again, it made me actually trust WWE. It felt like they've got stuff lined up. I just think they do. People saying it's going to be Owens versus Zayn. Maybe, but honestly, just Zayn returning to eliminate the man who put him on the shelf, it just felt like a bit of a blow-off to their feud. It felt like a punctuation mark, for now, of the huge rivalry they had at the top of last year. That's just what I think it is. So Triple H is champion. It's a pretty heinous thing to do, but, you know, good heel heat. That's the thing. Like, a lot of the things that happened in the match makes the fans boo, but there's a difference between bad booking and good heel heat. You know, the lines were blurred at some points, especially when it comes to Roman Reigns, but more often than not, it was a case of actual heat being built rather than just people booing because, oh no, a guy I liked is gone, therefore WWE must be bad at booking. So let's talk about the big problem, which is Roman Reigns. First of all, getting booed. I mean, putting AJ Styles up against Roman Reigns, missing the beginning of AJ Styles' entrance and focusing on Roman Reigns' face, not gonna help. But yeah, having Reigns go up against an incredibly over guy from TNA coming in, I mean, obviously Reigns is gonna get booed. And especially if you take him out of the match about halfway through, let him go to the back, let him have a little sit down, watch Neighbours, have some tea, and then he comes out again. It's just, I mean, that is not a Warrior's story. That is like, are we supposed to say, well done, Roman? Because the thing is, no one believes that he was actually injured. You know, it's just not that kind of time now. We don't think that about wrestling. All we see is management taking him out to protect him. And why did they do it? Because they couldn't think of a way to make him last? Or, even more troubling, they didn't have faith in him to do the Iron Man thing? I don't know. But yeah, that was the only really kind of glaringly bad thing. Taking Reigns out while you're trying to give him this huge hero's journey, those two things just fought against each other. It really didn't gel. But Ambrose versus Triple H. Also, tiny little moment, but Bray Wyatt versus Triple H. So that was the Rumble. All in all, good. And don't cancel WWE Network. So that's what just happened. What did you think of the Royal Rumble? Tell us in the comments below, and like, share, subscribe, and you can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon. And hey, while we have you, why not celebrate the relentless passage of time by buying WhatCulture's first ebook, The 100 Worst Wrestling Moments of 2015, written by Andrew Sosick, with a foreword from me. Only £3, it's currently the ranked #1 selling wrestling book on Amazon. Check the description for a link.